Happy Wednesday, everybody. What's up? Welcome into another episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys get this podcast wherever you get your audio podcasts. You can watch this very video on the BettingPros YouTube channel whenever you want to do so. Video can be found on your phone, computer, TV, all good stuff. Watch or listen to the Daily Juice every single day. Good week going. 4-2 so far. We went 2-1, 2-1. That's good. Up 1.8 units on the week as we head into a Wednesday where I have 3 more bets in college basketball. I'm not making a future bet as of yet. I know most of you guys were expecting it, but I'm going to wait a little bit. North Carolina did lose last night. That was the game that we got wrong. They lost at Georgia Tech. Tech's a tough place to play. On the road in general in college basketball. Real tough place to play. But good win for Damon Stoudemire's team, and maybe some adjustment in the market is coming today. So I want to wait and see and watch a little bit to see what we get from a price perspective with North Carolina. Now would probably be the time to jump in because they beat Duke on Saturday. Look out. And I think they're probably going to beat Duke on Saturday. So the pros were right. Look ahead spot. Number was too high for a home dog, just like South Carolina. They won the game outright. That is the second time we have bet a team plus 15 or higher, and they've won the game outright. Oregon State against Arizona was the other one, and then South Carolina on the road against a really good Tennessee team. But that number was ridiculous. 15 was a joke. That was, come on now, no way. They won the game outright. So got that right, and then we got what was the other one? Indiana. Indiana hung on to beat Iowa, which was nice. They won that game outright. They closed as favorites, but they won and they covered. So we got that right. Okay, so we got 3 bets for you in college basketball, not a future, but this podcast being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com. You guys can use that special promo code OmahaSteaks.com, or URL, OmahaSteaks.com/juice. Go make a purchase, and for using that URL, they're going to give you 8 free things, 4 chicken breasts and 4 pork chops. Now, I appreciate all you guys. I got a bunch of different people last night who sent me receipts saying, we ordered the meat, we can't wait. Thank you so much. Awesome. I'm glad you're making money with the juice. And a great way to say thank you is by going ahead and going to omahasteaks.com/juice. Minimum purchase may be required. Now, how would you cook that? How would you cook that, right? How would you, if you have that great, amazing meat coming in, how would you cook that? Well, we got 2 sponsors today. And this sponsor is visually appealing if you are somebody who is watching this podcast, because you get a picture of amazing steaks being cooked on a Schwank grill. Schwank grills, revolutionary portable gas infrared grills. They use the exact same heating technology as the world's best steakhouses, and it heats up to 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit, and you get to grill the juiciest steak you've ever tasted in as little as 3 minutes. This is not just for steak, however. The portable infrared grill from Schwank Grills is perfect for chicken wings. We know I'm a wing connoisseur, right? You're going to cook wings in your backyard, hamburgers, seafood, vegetables, even pizza with the Pizza Stone accessory. If you want to get that, here's the deal. Use the promo code Super Bowl 2024 when you buy one of these unbelievable Schwank 1,500 degree grills. And if you use that code, Super Bowl 2024, they're going to give you a free grill cover, a pizza stone, which you can make those pizzas in your backyard, plus a pizza reel that you get to go and check it out. It is too good of a deal to pass up. Get in there, check it out. Bring restaurant quality grilling to your own backyard. It's made in the USA. Go to Schwank, that's SCHWANK, grills.com. schwankgrills.com, and get your grill on. Steaks and food and grills, and if you're not hungry now, you're going to be later when you're listening to this podcast on your way home or whatever you're going to be doing. So, schwankgrills.com. Check them out. Okay. Let's start. We're going to college basketball. We got 3 bets for us rocking and rolling here tonight, and we're going to start with Alabama and Georgia in the SEC. Alabama is on the road laying 6 points to the Bulldogs. Alabama, the number 1 most efficient offense in college basketball. The number 4 effective field goal percentage in college basketball. The number 11 in three-point percentage in college basketball. 13 in two-point percentage for Alabama. in college basketball. But don't sleep here on Georgia. Now, offensively, they're not great on the number side, okay? They're 83rd in efficiency, 177th in effective field goal percentage on offense, 112th for defense, three-point percentage, and 236th in two-point percentage. However, Alabama lost here at Georgia last year. Alabama on the road this year is 3-6 ATS. Georgia at home is 6-5-1. But they're 6-1 in the SEC ATS. They're 4-1 over their last 5. They're 8-2 over their last 10. They just covered against Florida on the road, catching 8. They lost by 4. They didn't cover against LSU, laying 4.5. They won by 2. But against Tennessee at home, they were catching 7.5. The same Tennessee team that killed Alabama. They lost by 6. Against Arkansas, they laid 2. They won by 10. On the road against Missouri, they're catching 5.5. They won by 7. They played Kentucky on the road at plus 13.5. They lost by 9. And they played at South Carolina, catching 6.5. And they won that game by 5. Now, I know Bama has been super hot. They beat LSU in their last home game by 21. They beat Auburn by 4. We were on Bama against Auburn. Lost by 20. We were on Bama against Tennessee, but they lost that game badly. Missouri, they won by 18. I know Bama is hot. They've covered 5 of their last 6 games. 9-2 ATS at home, 5-2 ATS in the conference. But here's the problem with college basketball and the problem with Alabama on the road. Look what they did against Tennessee. If they go cold from the outside, they can lose to anybody. Bama can beat anybody, and they can lose to anybody. And you're on the road. We saw what happened in Tennessee last night in the SEC. I just think going on the road is so difficult. I mean, Alabama lost to Tennessee in their last home game. They beat Mississippi State by 8 as 1-point dogs. That was a pretty impressive victory there. And they killed South Carolina. But you start going back and looking at the way that they played. I mean, against Arkansas State, they didn't cover. Against Clemson, they didn't cover. Those are home games for them. They went on the road against Creighton. They lost by 3. They were catching 7.5. They covered there, but they were dogs. They weren't favored here. You look at them being favored on the road. They were favored against Vanderbilt. They won by 3. They were favored against another dog against Mississippi State. They've only been favored on the road, what, one time? True road game? They were favored, only one time against Vanderbilt, and they didn't cover. Give me the home dog. +6, home dogs until further notice, okay? Teams at home, non-ranked against ranked teams has been a thing for a long time to take the non-ranked team at home. Sometimes they're favored, but this is dog. I like dog. Give me Georgia +6 for 1.1 units. Second bet. Let's go to the Big 12. Baylor's on the road at Central Florida. We're talking about the 7th most efficient offense against the 8th most efficient defense. Strength on strength. Baylor offense against UCF defense. Numbers 3 here for this game. 12th in effective field goal percentage offensively, 35th in defense for Central Florida. 3rd in three-point percentage for Baylor, 124th for UCF defensively, 71st in two-point percentage for Baylor, 25th defensively for Central Florida. So how's the offense for Central Florida? Not good, okay? 210th in efficiency, 299th in effective field goal percentage, 269th in three-point percentage, 306th in two-point percentage. Baylor's defense is middle of the pack in every stat. They're not bad. They're just not great. So why do I like the home dog at +3? Because UCF is 9-3 ATS at home. They're 5-2 ATS in the Big 12, and they have beaten teams at home like Kansas. They were 7-point dogs. They won by 5. They covered at home against BYU, catching 5.5. They lost by 5, laying 7.5 against West Virginia. They won by 13. This team covered against Houston on the road, catching 17.5 points, and they lost by 15. Yes, they got killed by K-State on the road, but Baylor's covered one time in their last 4 games. Didn't cover against TCU, lost by 3. Didn't cover against Texas, lost by 2. They did cover against Texas. They're catching 2.5, but we were on Texas there. That number flipped. K-State lost by 4. They've lost 3 straight games straight up. Now, UCF has lost 2 of 3, but they've covered 5 of their last 6 and 6 of their last 8. 1 in the last 4 and 2 in the last 5. On the road, yes, 1-1. Okie State, they did cover, laying 4. They won by 5, but this is a team in the Big 12. They're 4-3-1 away from home overall. 5-5 ATS over their last 10. 2-3 ATS over their last 5. Baylor's going in the wrong direction. Central Florida is playing really well this year, in particular at home. They're 7-3 over the last 10. 4-1 over the last 5. 3-point home dogs. Give me Central Florida. UCF +3. You want to go money line? I don't have a problem with that going money line. I think you may see an upset here. Baylor may be going down. Knights may take them out. UCF +3 at home up against Baylor. And finally, we're going back to the SEC. Florida on the road against Kentucky. The number is 5.5. My goodness gracious. Get ready for offense. These two teams, 170 went over when they met at Florida. Florida's got the 14th most efficient offense. Kentucky, 9th most efficient offense. 125th in effective field goal percentage for Florida, 8th for Kentucky. 202nd in three-point percentage for Florida, 4th for Kentucky offensively. 93rd in two-point percentage, 39th for Kentucky. Their both defenses are pretty much the same. The difference comes to Rupp Arena and the Kentucky offense. Pace of play, this is going to be a track meet. 18th in adjusted tempo for Florida. For Kentucky, they are better. They are 12th in adjusted tempo. Start looking at the way these games have gone so far. The over is a good bet. It's just too high to make it official. It's 171. Kentucky's 9-2 to the over this year at home. Florida's 5-4-1 to the over on the road this year. In SEC play, Kentucky's 5-2 to the over, 4-3 to the under for Florida. But the last 2 games on the road for Kentucky, both have gone under. But Georgia at home went over. Mississippi State at home went over. Missouri at home went over. Illinois State at home went over. Last 4 games at home at Rupp have gone over for Kentucky. On the road against Missouri, it went under for Florida. On the road against Tennessee, went under. So that's the worry there. In the SEC games, Florida's been playing unders, but I do like it. Not as much as the side, though. Kentucky at -5.5. They're 6-5 at home. They're 4-3 in the SEC. But Florida is 3-6-1 ATS on the road, and they're 3-4 in conference play. Didn't cover against Georgia in their last game. They covered against Missouri on the road. They won by 12 as 3-point favorites, but against Tennessee, they were dogs catching 10. They lost by 19. Against Ole Miss, they're laying 2.5. They lost by 18 points. And Kentucky at home, they beat Georgia by 9. They didn't cover in that game, but they covered against Mississippi State. They covered against Missouri at home. They covered against Illinois State at home. Florida's good, but Kentucky's just too good. They're just much better here. I like Kentucky. I'm going to lay the 5.5 points. Home favorite at Rupp. When these teams played back on the 6th of January, it was a 2-point win for Kentucky. Hard-fought game. Kentucky won by 2 on the road. We're talking about now at Rupp, where Kentucky currently has a record of 10-1. 5-5 straight up for Florida. The only home loss on the year for Kentucky, they lost at home to UNC Wilmington, which was like a what game? Only home loss. Everything else has been home wins for them, in particular in SEC play against Missouri, against Mississippi State, against Georgia. They are 3-0 at home, and they beat Florida 87-85 in their last matchup. 171, you can sprinkle on the over as well if you like it, but I'm just going to lay the 5.5 points here with Kentucky. -5.5 Kentucky against Florida. All right, 3 bets again in college basketball. 2-1, 2-1. Let's keep it going here. I would love another 2-1 night and another winning night here for us on a Wednesday. Georgia +6. Central Florida +3, Kentucky -5.5, and the over 171. If you want to sprinkle and add on to something, feel free to go ahead and do that. My name is Matt Perrault. You can follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt every single morning. The Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.